You won't believe what I saw in that small diner. Something so chilling it changed how I see love and grief forever. One day, I realized the old couple sitting there weren't just grieving. They were obsessed, trapped in a web of their own sorrow, clinging to a ghost from their past. What I uncovered about their story will shock you to your core, and it raises a haunting question. How far can love go before it destroys you? In this story, you'll learn how grief can turn into obsession and the dangerous line between holding on and letting go. Stay tuned, because later I'll reveal the shocking truth about what really happened to their daughter and how it changed everything. If you've ever lost someone or felt overwhelmed by grief, this story will hit close to home. Drop a comment below, tell me where you're watching from, and hit that like button if you believe love can sometimes become dangerous. You won't want to miss what comes next. It's a story you'll never forget. I walk into the small, cozy diner. It is my favorite place. The walls are painted a soft yellow. The smell of hot coffee and fresh bread makes me feel happy. I come here every week. It feels like a quiet home. Every time I sit at my usual table, I see them. An old man and an old woman. They come in at the same time. They sit in the corner near the window. They look around the diner. Their eyes seem tired, but also sad. Their faces are kind, but their eyes are haunted. I notice them watching the other people and the door. Sometimes they look at me, and I feel their eyes on me. I think they are just old and lonely. Maybe they come here to remember someone. I try not to think about it too much. I tell myself they are just regular customers. But still, I feel strange when I see them. Their looks are quiet but heavy. It's like they carry a lot of pain inside. Every week, they come in the same way. They sit in the corner, and the old man always orders black coffee. The old woman drinks tea. They sit very still. Sometimes they smile softly, but most of the time, they just sit and watch. They don't talk much to anyone. They seem lost in their own world. I notice their haunted eyes. They look at the door coming in, the people eating, and the empty space around them. It's almost as if they are waiting for someone, or remembering someone long gone. I wonder about them. Why do they come here? Why are they so quiet yet so full of sadness? I don't know much about them, but I feel that something is not quite right. Still, I tell myself they are just lonely old people. Everyone has stories, I think. Maybe they just need a friend. I finish my coffee and look at the clock. It's almost time to go. As I stand up, I see the old man glance at me quickly. Their eyes seem to search for something in my face. I feel a little nervous, but I smile and wave goodbye. They don't wave back, but I think I see a small nod from the old man. I walk out of the diner. The day is bright outside. I wonder if I will see them again next week. I hope they are okay. I want to believe they are just simple customers, but deep inside I feel a strange pull, like there is more to their story. Something quiet, something sad. That is how my week begins. Every week, I come back, and they are here. Their haunted eyes stay with me. I don't know what they are really thinking, but I can feel their heavy sadness, and I wonder if I will ever understand what they hide behind their quiet looks. This is the start of my story with the old couple in the cozy diner. Little do I know, their story is much darker than it seems. And soon, I will learn that their sadness hides something more than just loneliness. It hides pain that can change everything. I walk into the cozy diner again. It is early afternoon, and the place is quiet. The smell of fresh coffee and warm baked bread fills the air. I like coming here because it feels safe. I sit at my usual spot near the window. I look around and see the old couple in the corner. They are sitting very still. Their faces look tired, and their eyes are dark and sad. The old man is staring at a cup of tea. The old woman is looking down at her plate. Sometimes, I catch them looking at me from across the room. Their eyes are intense and quiet, like they are watching me very closely. I feel a little strange. Why do they keep coming here? They come often, week after week, always at the same time. They don't talk much. They only sit and watch. I wonder what they are thinking. Do they see something I don't see? I try to ignore their stares. I tell myself they are just lonely. Maybe they miss someone. Maybe they are tired and sad. That's what I want to believe. But sometimes, I feel a little nervous when they look at me too long. Today, something feels different. I notice the old man glances at me more than before. His eyes seem heavy but sharp, like he wants to say something. I see the old woman squeeze his hand gently. She looks worried but calm. I decide to walk over for a moment. I take a deep breath and go to their table. I smile softly. "Hello," I say. "Is everything okay?" The old man looks up. His face is soft, but his eyes are full of pain. He opens his mouth, then stops. The old woman smiles faintly and says, "You're a kind person. Thank you for asking." I nod. I want to be nice. I want to understand them. But I also feel a little nervous. I wonder what they will say next. As I walk back to my seat, I hear the old man whisper to the woman. I can't hear all of it, but I catch a few words. He says, "She looks just like her." His voice is quiet, but full of sadness. My heart beats faster. I stop for a moment and think, what does he mean? Did he just say I look like someone? Someone they loved? Someone they lost? I sit quietly and watch. They go back to their usual silence, but I feel a strange feeling inside me. It's like a small spark of curiosity mixed with worry. Why do they keep coming here? Why do they look at me so much? And what do they see when they look at me? I don't know yet, but I feel that soon I will find out more. For now, I finish my tea and try to enjoy my afternoon. The cozy diner feels a little different today, like it's hiding a secret. I wonder what tomorrow will bring. Maybe I will learn more. Maybe I will understand why these strange visits matter so much to them. I take a deep breath and smile. I am still curious. I am still listening. And I am ready to see what happens next. I walk into the diner again. It is quiet today. The same old couple is sitting in their usual corner. They look tired and sad. Their eyes are haunted, like they're carrying a heavy load. I smile and say, "Good morning." They nod slowly, but they do not speak. I wipe the counter and pour myself a coffee. I watch them from the corner of my eye. They sit very still. They seem to be lost in their thoughts. Suddenly, the old man looks up. His eyes meet mine. He stares for a moment. Then he speaks softly. "Did you know," he begins, "our daughter was a bright girl. She loved to sing. She loved to dance." I feel my heart beat a little faster. I have heard stories like this before. I wonder what they will say next. "She was only 10 years old," he continues. "One day, she went outside to play. She never came back." His voice trembles. His eyes look far away, like he sees her again. The old woman reaches out and gently touches his hand. She whispers, "It was a bad day, a very bad day." I listen carefully. I want to understand. I want to be kind. The old man lowers his voice even more. "It was a man," he says. "A man who took her. We never saw him again. We never knew why." I feel a chill run down my spine. I do not want to interrupt, so I wait quietly. He looks at me again. "She looked just like you," he says softly. When we see someone who reminds us of her, it hurts so much. But we keep coming here. It makes us feel close to her. I nod. I do not know what to say. I feel sad for them. The old woman joins in. It helps us to remember, to talk about her, to keep her alive in our hearts. I look at them and wonder, is their grief turned into something more? Are they clinging too tightly? Are they stuck in the past? They sit quietly, lost in their memories. The cafe feels heavy with sadness. I finish my coffee and stand up. I want to help, but I do not know how. As I walk away, I think about what they said. About their daughter. About pain that never goes away. I realize that sometimes people hold on to their grief so tightly. They do not want to forget, or maybe they cannot. But I also understand something else. Their sadness is so deep that it fills the room. It feels like a wound that never stops bleeding. And I wonder, how much of their pain is real, or is it something they need, something they keep alive because they are afraid to let go? I leave the diner that day feeling heavy inside. I know I will see them again, and I will listen. But I also know I have to be careful, because sometimes sadness can turn into obsession, and obsession can take over everything. I take a deep breath and walk out into the bright sunlight. The world is still moving, but inside, I carry their story with me, and I think maybe I am starting to see more than I used to. Maybe I'm beginning to understand, or maybe I am just afraid of what I might find. I walk into the diner again. It's quiet today, just a few people eating. I see the old couple in their usual corner. They're sitting close, like always. Their faces look tired and sad. Their eyes are haunted, like they're lost in memories. I go to the counter and start my work, but I keep looking at them. I notice they're watching me, not just looking, but staring. Their eyes follow my every move. It makes me feel strange. I try to think they are just sad. Maybe they're lonely. Sometimes I tell myself they're just old and tired. The old man glances up at me and quickly looks away. But I catch the flicker of his eyes. It's like he's trying to tell me something without words. I wonder what it is. Maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe he is just a quiet, sad man. I start to feel a little nervous. I wonder why they come here so often. Why do they watch me so closely? I try to ignore it. I tell myself it's just because they're lonely and sad, but a small part of me feels there is more behind their eyes. While I clean the counter, I overhear them talking softly. I can't hear everything, but I catch a few words. The old woman says, "He looks just like her." The old man nods and whispers, "Yes, just like our girl." My heart beats faster when I hear that. I wonder who her is, and what does he mean by our girl? They sit quietly for a moment. Then the old man looks at me again. His eyes seem heavy, full of pain. I feel a strange tug inside me. I want to understand. I want to know why they keep coming back, why they look at me that way. Later, I watch them leave. They walk slowly, hand in hand, still looking sad. They never say much, but I feel their sadness like a heavy coat around their shoulders. As they disappear out the door, I think about what I saw and heard. I wonder if they are just sad old people, or if there is something more. Maybe they're holding on to memories that are too heavy. Maybe they're afraid to let go. I feel a little worried. I think about how grief can make people do strange things, how it can turn sadness into obsession. I tell myself I should be kind, but I also know I need to be careful. That day, I leave the diner with many questions. I look at the couple's empty seats. I wonder what stories they are living inside. I know I will see them again soon, and I wonder what they will tell me next time. This is just the start. I can feel that their sadness is deeper than I first thought, and I know that I need to pay attention, because sometimes sadness can hide secrets that are hard to see. I sat at my usual spot in the cozy diner. The warm light made everything look soft and inviting. I watched the old couple in the corner. They came in every week. They sat quietly, their eyes full of sadness. They never talked much. They just looked around, lost in their own thoughts. I had seen them many times now. I wondered what they were thinking. Their eyes looked haunted, like they were carrying a heavy pain. I noticed they kept looking at me sometimes. It made me feel a little strange, but I told myself it was just their way of being shy or sad. One day, I decided to be friendly. I walked over to their table and smiled. "Hi," I said softly. "Is everything okay?" The old man looked up slowly. His eyes were dark and tired. He nodded slightly, but he didn't say anything. His wife smiled faintly and nodded too, but her eyes were also full of sadness. Weeks went by. The couple kept coming back. Every time, I saw that look in their eyes. One day the old man finally spoke. His voice was quiet but trembling. "You know," he said, "we come here because of our daughter." My heart skipped a beat. I looked at him closely. "Your daughter? What happened?" He hesitated a moment. "She was taken from us. She was very young. It was a long time ago." He paused, his eyes glassy. "We miss her so much. We come here to feel close to her." I listened carefully. I didn't know what to say. I felt sorry for them. It was sad to lose someone you love. I thought maybe they just wanted to remember her. But I also started to notice other strange things. Sometimes they looked at me as if I was her. Their eyes held a deep longing. It was almost like they saw her in me. One day, I decided to ask more. "Do you talk about her a lot?" The old woman nodded. "Yes, we tell stories about her to keep her memory alive." "Can I hear one?" I asked softly. The old man looked at me with a strange smile. "Would you like to hear about her?" "Her name was Lily." He took a deep breath. "Lily was a bright girl," he said. "She loved to laugh. She loved to play outside. We miss her every day." He looked at me. "Sometimes I see her in my dreams. I hear her voice. It's like she never left." His words made me feel sad. I wondered how much pain they carried inside. But something in my mind also started to feel uneasy. I wondered why they kept coming back, week after week. Why did they need to tell stories about her so often? And why did they seem to see me as her? One afternoon, I sat alone in the diner. The couple entered again. They sat in their usual corner and looked at me with those haunted eyes. I felt a chill run down my spine. Suddenly, the old man looked at me very intently. He leaned forward and softly said, "You remind me of her, you know?" My eyes widened. "Remind you of who?" He didn't answer right away. Then he whispered, "Our daughter, Lily. She used to look just like you." I took a step back. I felt a strange mixture of sympathy and fear. I didn't know what to say. The old woman reached out gently and touched her husband's arm. She looked at me with soft eyes. "She was our little girl," she said quietly. "We miss her so much. We only want to feel close to her again." I looked at them. They seemed so sad, so lost. I wanted to help, but I also felt confused. Were they doing this because they loved her? Or was something else going on? That day, as I left the diner, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to their story. Their grief was deep, but it felt like it was taking over them. I thought about what I had learned. I knew they loved their daughter. I knew their pain was real. But I also wondered, were they holding on too tight? Were they searching for her in the wrong way? I sat outside for a moment, watching the street. The diner's lights glowed softly behind me. I realized that sometimes grief can make people act in strange ways. It can fill their hearts so full that they forget what's real. That night, I reflected on everything. I knew I wanted to be kind and gentle, but I also knew I had to be careful. Sometimes, the people who seem lost in grief are fighting battles inside that I cannot see. I promised myself to watch and listen more closely, to keep my heart open, but also to protect myself. I wanted to understand, but I also wanted to stay safe. As I walked home, I looked back at the diner. Its warm lights looked comforting, but I knew that behind those doors, a deep sadness still lived. And I wondered how long they would keep coming, chasing memories that might never be real. That was the end of episode 5. I felt a mix of sadness and curiosity. I knew that their grief was real, but I also knew that sometimes pain can make people see what isn't really there. And I had to figure out what was true and what was just in their minds. I wake up early in the morning. The sun is just starting to rise. I feel tired, but also nervous. Today, I know something big might happen. I work at the Cozy Diner, the place where I see the old couple almost every day. They come in quietly, always the same. But today, I feel that they are different. I get dressed quickly and head to the diner. When I arrive, I see them sitting in their usual spot. They are looking at each other, silent. Their eyes seem darker than before, almost heavy with sadness. I walk over and say, "Good morning, did you sleep well?" The old man looks up. His eyes are haunted, like he's seen something terrible. He nods slowly. The old woman gives me a small smile. I notice her hands are trembling just a little. I start to serve coffees and breakfast, but I can't stop thinking about what I learned last week. The old man told a story about their daughter. Her name was Lily. She was taken from them when she was very young. They said they loved her more than anything. Their grief is so deep, it feels like a big hole inside them. As I bring food to their table, I try to be friendly. I ask, "Do you want your usual today?" The old man nods again. He looks at me with eyes full of pain. Suddenly, he speaks softly. "You remind me of her, our Lily." I stop for a moment. My heart beats faster. I ask quietly, "Your daughter? You mean Lily?" He nods and says, "Yes. Sometimes I see her face in everyone. Sometimes I think I hear her voice in the wind." I feel a shiver run down my back. I want to help them, but I also feel nervous. Why do they keep coming here? Why do they look at me like that? I wonder if they are only sad, or if something else is going on. Throughout the morning, the old man keeps talking about Lily. He tells stories about her smile, her laugh, and the way she loved to play outside. The old woman listens quietly. She seems tired but also sad, like she's carrying a heavy weight too. At one point, the old man looks at me and says softly, "Sometimes I think I see her in you. Maybe you are her spirit come back to us." I feel my cheeks grow hot. I don't know what to say. I look down at my plate. I want to help, but I also feel scared. This is not normal. I start to wonder, are they imagining things, or is something else happening? Later, I sit quietly at the counter. I watch them. They sit very still, holding their cups. Their eyes are fixed on me, or maybe they are just lost in their memories. I wonder how much of what they say is real, and how much is just their sadness talking. I take a deep breath and tell myself, it's okay to care, but I need to be careful. I realize that their grief is very strong. It's like a storm inside them that never ends. I don't want to hurt them, but I also don't want to lose myself. I want to keep my own thoughts and feelings clear. Suddenly, I remember something. Last week, I saw the old man look at me in a strange way. His eyes had a flicker of hope, but also fear. Today, that look is even stronger. It's like he's hoping I will be their Lily, or maybe that he can somehow bring her back through me. I feel a strange feeling inside. It's a mix of sadness and something darker. I want to run away, but I know I can't. I have to stay strong. As I finish cleaning the tables, I decide I will keep listening, but I will also be careful. I have to find a way to understand what is real and what is only sorrow. I can't let their grief pull me into their world completely. When the diner closes at night, I sit alone for a moment. I think about everything I've seen today. Their haunted eyes, their stories, and the strange hope in their words. I realize that grief can be like a shadow. It can follow you, and sometimes it makes you see things that aren't really there. I know that tomorrow they might come back, and I will be ready to listen. But I will also remember to look after myself, because I can only help them if I stay strong and clear. As I turn off the lights and leave the diner, I whisper to myself, I will be careful. I will watch out for myself. I walk into the night, feeling the weight of their sadness and my own hope to understand. But I also know one thing. Sometimes grief can make people see what they want to see, and I need to be careful not to become part of their illusion. That's the end of today's story. Tomorrow I will see what new stories they bring, and I will try to stay safe. Because even in the darkest grief, I must remember who I am. I walk into the diner again. The warm smell of coffee and bread fills the room. It's quiet, just a few people sitting at tables. I see the old couple sitting in their usual spot. They sit close together, their eyes fixed on me. Their faces look tired and sad. I feel a little nervous. I wonder what they are thinking. I sit down at my usual seat. The waitress brings me my coffee. I look at the couple. They are staring again. Their eyes are haunted, like they are dreaming about something far away. After a while, the old man clears his throat. He speaks softly. "Do you remember when Lily was little?" he asks. His voice is shaky. I nod. I remember they told me her name was Lily. I remember how they look at me sometimes, like I might be her. The old woman nods too. She doesn't speak. She just smiles quietly, but her eyes are full of sadness. The old man continues. Lily was so full of life. She loved to run in the yard, to sing and dance. She was bright and happy, But one day, something terrible happened. I listen carefully. I want to understand what they are saying. I feel a little nervous, but I try to stay calm. He whispers, "Someone took her away. It was a hard day. Our girl was gone. We waited and waited, but she never came back. We lost her forever." I feel sad for them. I wonder if I should say something. I want to be kind. "Did you see her after that?" I ask softly. The old man looks down and nods. "Sometimes I think I see her. I see her face in the shadows. I hear her voice in the wind. It's like she's still here, with us." His words make my stomach turn. I start to feel strange. It's like I am part of their story, like their grief is taking over everything. The old woman then speaks, her voice quiet. "We come here to remember her, to feel close to her. We need her, even if she is gone." I look at them. They seem so sad, so lost in their memories. I wonder why they keep coming back to the diner. Do they do it to feel connected, or is something more? Suddenly, I notice something strange. Their eyes are full of longing. Their gaze stays on me longer than before. It's like they are searching for her in me. Or maybe they are searching for something they lost long ago. I start to feel uncomfortable. I look away and sip my coffee. I tell myself I should be kind. Maybe they are just lonely. Maybe they just want someone to talk to. But deep inside, I feel a little afraid. I wonder what will happen next. Are they really just sad? Or is there something else? Something I don't understand yet. I sit quietly, feeling the weight of their haunted eyes. I know I can't escape their gaze, but I also know I need to protect myself. As I finish my coffee, I decide I need to be careful. I want to help, but I don't want to get caught in their world of grief forever. I stand up and gather my things. I say, "It was nice talking. I have to go now." They look at me with their haunted eyes. The old man nods slowly. The old woman gives me a faint smile, but I can see the sadness behind it. I leave the diner. Outside, I take a deep breath. I feel a little lighter now, but I know their story is not finished. Their pain is still there, hiding in the shadows. And I wonder, what will happen next? Will I be able to stay safe? Or will their grief pull me in again, deeper than I want to go? For now, I walk away, carrying the memory of their haunted eyes. I know I must be careful, because sometimes grief is a heavy weight, and it can make people do strange things. And I am just a person trying to find my way through it all. I walk into the diner again. It feels quiet and familiar. The old couple is there, sitting in their usual corner. Their eyes meet mine. I see the sadness in them, like always. But today, I notice something different. Their eyes look more filled with pain, more intense. They stare at me, just like they always do. I go to the counter and sit down. I try to act normal, but I feel nervous inside. I wonder what they are thinking. Do they see something in me? Or is it just their sadness again? The old man looks at me and smiles weakly. His hands shake a little as he reaches for his coffee. His wife watches him quietly. She doesn't say anything today. Suddenly, the old man speaks. His voice is soft but shaky. "You remind me of her," he says. "Our Lily." I feel my heart beat faster. I ask, "Your daughter? You talk about her a lot." He nods slowly. "Yes, Lily was our little girl. She was so full of life. We loved her very much." His eyes look distant, like he's back in a memory. "She was taken from us too soon." I listen carefully. I want to be kind. I say, "That must have been very hard. I'm sorry for your loss." He looks at me with tears in his eyes. Sometimes I feel like I can still see her, like she's still close. His wife reaches out and gently touches his arm. She whispers, "We just want to feel close to her again." I nod. I understand they are hurting, but I also feel something strange. They are holding on so tightly to the past. It's like they don't want to let go. Then the old man takes a deep breath. He looks straight at me. His eyes seem to search mine very carefully. "You look like her," he whispers again. "Sometimes I see her face in you." I feel a shiver run down my back. I ask softly, "What do you mean? Do you think I am Lily? He moves closer. No, not exactly, but I feel like you could be her. If only we could bring her back somehow. I don't know what to say. I feel sad, but also a little scared. I realize that he is talking about more than just memories. He's talking about trying to bring Lily back in some way. His wife gently takes his hand. She whispers something I can't hear. I see they are both very lost in their grief. I look at them and think, are they trying to hold on to Lily so much that they forget what is real? Or are they truly just sad and hurting? I want to help, but I also want to be safe. I stand up and say, I hope you find peace. I hope you can let go a little and find happiness again. They look at me with longing. The old man nods slowly. Thank you, he says softly. I leave the table and walk away. I feel a heavy weight in my chest. I realize that their grief is like a dark cloud over them. They are afraid to let her go. They keep coming back, year after year, to remember her, to see her in everything. I sit at a different table and look out the window. I think about what they said, about how they see Lily and me. I wonder if they are imagining things, or if they are really trying to bring her back in their hearts. Whatever it is, I know one thing. Their grief is very deep. It's like a trap holding them in the past. And I am caught in the middle, feeling sorry for them, but also worried about myself. The diner is quiet again. The old couple finishes their coffee and leaves slowly, without talking. Their haunted eyes stay with me as they walk out the door. I sit alone for a moment and breathe. I think about how grief can make people do strange things, how it can turn love into obsession. I know that I cannot fix their pain. I cannot bring Lily back, but I can be careful. I can protect my own heart and remember that sometimes the best thing to do is to let go. As I watch them disappear down the street, I feel a strange sadness. I know their story is not over. It might never be. And I wonder, how much of their grief is real, and how much is a shadow they are chasing forever? I wake up early that day. I still feel tired from everything that happened. My head is full of questions. I try to clear my mind, but my stomach feels tight with worry. I know I need to go to the diner, even if I am scared. When I get there, I see the old couple sitting in their usual seats. They are quiet, just looking at their coffee. Their eyes are sad, like always. But today, something feels different. I walk closer, slowly. Good morning, I say softly. They look at me. The old man nods, but his eyes seem darker than usual. The old woman gives me a small smile, but it doesn't reach her eyes. I sit at my usual spot. I want to act normal, but my heart beats faster. I remember everything. The stories, the tears, the pain. I wonder how much of it is real, or if it is all just a story they tell themselves. After some time, the old man speaks. His voice is quiet, shaky. Today, I want to tell you something, he says. I listen carefully. I see her in you, he whispers. Our daughter Lily. I see her face when I look at you. It's like she's alive again. My eyes widen. I feel cold inside. My stomach twists. I don't know what to say. He continues, we lost her a long time ago. We think about her every day. Sometimes I feel like I can hear her voice. Sometimes I see her in your eyes. It's as if she never left. I swallow hard. I want to be kind, but I also feel scared. I wonder if he really sees Lily in me, or if he is just lost in his grief. The old woman reaches out and gently touches his arm. She looks at him with sad eyes. Maybe, she says softly, it's better if we remember her in peace. The old man nods, but his eyes are still haunted. He looks at me again. Sometimes I think he's here, he whispers, watching us. I feel a strange chill. I realize they are still holding on to Lily so tightly that they forget what is real. They want to see her so much that they forget she is gone. I want to say something, to help them understand, but I don't know how. I only sit quietly, feeling the weight of their sadness. As I leave the diner that day, I look back. They are still sitting there, waiting, stuck in their memories. I wonder if they will ever find peace, or if they will keep searching forever. I walk away, feeling tired but also sad. I know I cannot fix their pain. I can only hope they will find a way to let go, to remember Lily with love, not obsession. That day, I realized something important. Sometimes, grief can make people see things that aren't really there. And maybe the only way to truly heal is to let go and face the truth. I go home, thinking about all this. I know I must be careful. I cannot become part of their story. I need to protect myself, even if it hurts to leave them behind. Because sometimes, loving someone means letting go, even if it feels like losing a part of yourself. I sat alone in the quiet corner of the diner. The lights were soft, and the air smelled like coffee and warm bread. I knew this was my last chance to understand what was really happening with the old couple. I looked at them across the counter. Their eyes were fixed on me, full of sadness and longing. They came in again today, just like every week. The old man's face looked tired, like he carried a heavy weight. The old woman sat quietly, her hands folded in her lap. I felt a strange sadness inside me. I wondered if I could help them, or if I was just making things worse. Suddenly, the old man spoke softly. His voice trembling, he said, "You remind us of Lily." I blinked. My heart started beating faster. "Lily?" I asked softly. "Who is Lily?" He looked at me with haunted eyes. "Our daughter," he said. "She was taken from us too soon. We miss her very much." I listened as he told stories about Lily, how she loved to run in the fields, how she laughed when she played with her dog. The stories were full of pain, but also love. I felt tears prick my eyes. The old man looked at me again. "Sometimes I see her in you," he whispered. "I think she's happy now, but I wish I could hold her one more time." I felt a shiver run down my spine. Did he really see Lily in me, or was he imagining things? I didn't know what to say. The old woman reached out and touched her husband's hand. She looked sad, but also tired. I wondered if she saw what he saw, or if she was trying to keep her own feelings inside. That night I stayed quiet. My mind was full of questions. Why did they come here every week? Why did they see me as Lily? Was it because they loved her so much that they couldn't let go? As I got ready to leave, the old man called to me. "Please come back next week. We need to see you, to remember her." I nodded slowly. I didn't know what to do. I felt both sad and scared. I wanted to help, but I knew I had to be careful. Over the next few days, I thought about everything. I realized that their grief was very deep, maybe too deep. Maybe their love for Lily had become a way of holding on to her, even if it wasn't real anymore. One evening, I sat alone in my room. I closed my eyes and remembered what they said. I remembered the stories about Lily, the way they looked at me. I understood now that they were trapped in their memories, afraid to let her go. I thought about what I should do. I wanted to help them find peace, but I also needed to protect myself. I couldn't allow their grief to control me or make me forget who I was. The next day, I went back to the diner. I looked at the old couple and said, "I care about you, but I think it's time to let Lily go. She is happy now. She would want you to find peace." They looked at me with sad eyes. The old man nodded slowly. "Maybe you're right," he whispered. From that day on, I visited less often. I knew I couldn't stay forever in their world of memories. I wanted them to remember Lily, but also to find a way to live without her haunting them every day. As I walked away from the diner, that evening, I felt a heavy weight lift from my shoulders. I knew I had done what I could. I had tried to help them see that love is good, but it's also important to let go sometimes. Sometimes loving someone means letting them go, even if it hurts. That's how we find peace. That's how we learn to live again. And as I looked back at the cozy lights of the diner, I felt a quiet hope in my heart. Maybe, just maybe, the old couple could find their way out of the shadow of grief, and I could find my way too, back to myself.